All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast. This is episode 23. I am your host, Supreme King, and I am joined by my co-host, as always, and his name is...
It's a guy on basis.
Yes, sir. How you doing today,
I'm
Omazes?
doing I'm doing okay. I do want to bring it up now.
You want to do
Rest
this
in
now?
peace to rest in peace to Batman. That was like the voice of Batman growing up. Kevin Conroy was just the guy. So yeah, rest in peace. It was somebody one of those celebrities I've always wanted to meet. I heard he was really nice in person too, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know he was going to do it immediately. I know you said it, and then I just kind of forgot, and now I remember again. But yeah, rest in peace. It was crazy. It kind of just came out of nowhere. I don't actually know the full story of his condition or whatever was going on, but he really was the Batman for a lot of people because, like, yeah, they had all the movies and some people were good, some people were bad, but just for the voiceover work, like for all the years, like the animated series was such a huge deal
Yeah.
for Batman in general because without that, he would have been like probably a superhero that would come and go but wouldn't be as serious as he should be. The Batman animated series really put Batman on the map for a really long time because before that they had a couple movies. I forgot his name, but the movie Batman and Batman Returns, that was like before it, and
Al Kilmer?
then then you had the animated series that really rejuvenated Batman overall with the comic books in between and a little bit before that, and then you start seeing a
Michael
bunch
Keaton.
of movies
Michael Keaton.
afterwards.
My
Yeah,
bad, Michael Keaton. It was
yeah,
Michael
yeah,
Keaton, and then it was Val Kilmer, and then it was George Clooney. Yeah. The
yeah. Danny DeVito as the Penguin,
Penguin. Yeah. But yeah, no,
Catwoman, and
I get what you were saying too. Yeah, you had the games, and then I think one of the coolest moments for me is when the Arrowverse did their like Elseworlds like crossover event, and they actually let Kevin Conroy play an older Batman, like an actual Bruce Wayne.
yeah.
I thought that was just really cool for the moment, and like everyone who recognizes his voice, like it was definitely a big part of my childhood. One of the reasons why I'm always like a DC person was growing up off of those TV series, the Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, and Superman, and just yeah. So surely will be missed.
Yeah, I really appreciated him doing the voiceover work in the Arkham series
Yeah.
because I had went to the Arkham series late and like when I heard his voice, it's like you immediately know who he was and it made it not seem foreign to you like you were like, catching up or out of place and don't know what's going on. It's like, no, that's my Batman. I feel at home. I feel safe with this Batman. I know who this Batman is. Because
Feel that.
like when I played Arkham Asylum, like on the PS3, like it was still very good. Like him and the Joker, like both of them were the series. They were the animated series. So to put them both back in there to do this, it was just like, yo, it was like they knew their roles and they played them to the T. And then Arkham City I had played years later on the PS4, and it was just like like just jumping back in and it was like I didn't skip a beat because I knew his voice and I knew who he was, and that's the power of certain voice actors and stuff. And so like he was the Batman. I think the only other
Yeah.
person that's like really like that right now is technically Optimus Prime, the guy who do Optimus Prime. I think is Peter Cullen. Is that his name?
Uh huh.
Like
I believe so. Yeah.
like he does some of the voiceover for the games as well as the shows and the movies, and it's like he just embodied that role as well. It's like once you get to a certain point, it's going to be hard to replace certain people, even though they always try to do it. But yeah, R.I.P. He did a lot of body of work over the years, a lot of different areas for Batman, pretty sure he was paid handsomely. His family should be taken care of for all of that. So yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Any other words? I mean, I guess we got that over. I don't know. I'm putting it in the title. It's a big deal. I put it in the title.
It is.
So
it is.
Yeah. So I guess that's all we can say about it. But for some of what might consider the hottest news, I guess I can go directly into it. The next part of the headline of this episode, and that is God of War Ragnarok is out. It is officially out. A lot of people have already sunk their teeth into it. I am one of those people. I sunk my teeth into this. I went and got it. Just like I actually could not get it day one. I got it day two technically because work and everything. And then the place I went to, they didn't even stock the shelves, and I was kind of annoyed. And I was just like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna just go. And then I got it from the other one. But
I held Walmart. Off. I'm waiting till because I planned on playing this closer to Christmas, where I got the full break off and just just give all of my attention to it. So I'm like really trying to hold off from playing it, and it is tough because I want to go get. I ended up getting the controller. I got the God of War controller.
Did you unbox that
special blue and white one? Yeah, it looks nice. It looks good. But I decided I don't want to use it until I get God of War.
You don't want to use it. I didn't really care to get it. I wanted to I didn't want to get another PlayStation controller until if I decide to get the DualSense Edge.
Okay.
Which before I remember saying I would get it and I would save for it, and then afterwards the price of that came out and I was just like, I don't know if it's necessary immediately, because once they hit you with the prices, they usually wait to the last minute too, because they know you're going to think about it a certain type of way. Then they finally hit you with the prices, similar to what might be the next topic, which is the PSVR. But I want to just take a couple of minutes to say a couple of things about Ragnarok, because I will admit, in the initial showing, I was one of those people who thought it looked like DLC. I think it's a little apples and oranges when you think about it, because they themselves said they were approaching this as if it was like one really long game. So when you look at that, it's like you could see where somebody might make that argument, but at the same time, from the fanboy side of it, it's like that's the most offensive thing you could say about the most holier than thou game, right? But from my experience so far, I can tell you that there are a lot of elements that were the same. The controls basically are the same, with like a few changes here and there, because they approached his like moveset and stuff slightly different.
Okay.
So you could argue for some people, because I've seen some arguments. It's like, I don't really care about it being that much of an argument, because I knew even the people accusing it of being DLC were still going to probably get it anyway. Let's be real. Like, you were still probably going to buy it anyway, DLC or not. So it's still worth it. I'll put it that way. It was still a lot of fun getting back into it. It did not have that much of a slow pace. It started off very action packed in the first, I want to say, hour and a half. And it has better textures. The girl Freya the Valkyrie, she in God of War, like the first game, or 2018, in some cutscenes they did her justice, but I just remember at the end of the game they gave her that mush mouth looking like for a second, and I was just like, yeah, that don't look good. I don't know about the textures. Like, anybody who remember after, I guess, spoiler alert, her son getting killed basically, and she's like, I'm gonna rain down fire upon you, or whatever she said. Like, she was mad. Like, her mouth was like, it was almost Assassin's Creed Valhalla like mouth. It was like, what happened? It was just I remember it standing out so much when I was watching on the big screen at that point. Like, she was fixed so far. Like, when they showed her, what I do like about it though is she kind of gangster. She is gangster. Like, it's not even spoilers because it was like you saw it from the trailer. She turned into the bird and then turned into herself and like swung on Kratos, right? Like, you saw that in the trailer. She is on site. She is like I want to say, like, what is that dude name from Resident Evil 3? Nemesis. She is on site. She is like, when I see you, it is go time. We are scrapping. It was just, and so it's like, yo, and the way that they were reacting to her, because you could tell there's like a time difference, because just like, none of this is spoilers, it's all from the trailers. It's a time difference because Atreus is a little bit older. He's got his, puberty voice or whatever. He a little bit taller. But when Freya shows up and she's like, it's on site, they're treating it as if she's been hunting them for a while. And so, like, the way that they were talking, like the way that they were talking and the way that they are like reacted to her, they was like, that's her again. She's here again. She's back again and stuff. Like, and she is like, very, very like, savage with how mad she is and everything. And they're just like, yeah, she's on site. She is on site. And what I like about the game too is like there's layers into this game, because he's gonna fight Thor at some point. You're gonna fight Thor, and that the problems with the Norse mythology, the Odin and all of that. But then you got Freya here on the end, and she's like also gunning you down for her own personal reasons. And it's like there's layers to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, Atreus wants to know who he is as Loki and stuff. It's like, it's not just one linear story here. It's like there's more than one thing going on. And so it makes for a much better, experience, because, sometimes you don't want to just save the princess from a dragon turtle and then that's it. No disrespect. But maybe you want a little bit more layers to it. Maybe you want something else going on. Maybe
Now hold on. From Super Mario Odyssey, there was some layers. All right, you were not only trying to save her from fire breathing turtle dragon, you're also trying to save a hat, and you could be a fish at one point. That's layers.
All right,
that's layers.
I guess. So yeah, you still break open the treasure chest the same way. They're more in the winter now, obviously. The snow reacts similar to the PS5 version of Outriders in a way, like on the ground. So it's not just lifeless. You can kind of, walk a trail in it and everything. So their textures are a little bit more high res, especially if you have a 4K TV. You'll be able to, see that if you're playing the PS5 version. I'm playing the PS5 version. I did not go for the PS4 version. Almost every other game, I would go for the PS4 version because you can either get a free upgrade, or if you get the paid upgrade, you have two versions of the game. But I don't necessarily want to go back and do like a new game plus or something on the PS4. I was just pretty much done with the PS4. However, I will say I do not have Horizon Forbidden West, but that one had the free upgrade, and remember the PS4 version was $10 cheaper, so I'm probably going to go for that version and do the upgrade. There is something that I want to figure out probably with you live. Maybe we could figure this out, and maybe if somebody is listening, they could figure this out with us in the comment section. So hit the like button, but I think there is a loophole somewhere that I don't think people like talked about. But I was saying, I wish I knew what game it was, but there was a game where had the disc version of it, right? And the PlayStation 5 version of the game, you needed to put the disc in the disc in first, and then go to the store, and then you either pay for an upgrade or you just get the upgrade.
Cyberpunk?
I don't think no, it's a disc that has two discs.
Yeah.
It's not Cyberpunk. I didn't do this with Cyberpunk.
Oh.
But what I'm getting
has two discs. Okay.
Yeah, there's what I'm getting at is what I noticed was it didn't matter which disc you put into the PS5. You just need to put one disc in, and then you can play the PS5 version of the game from the PlayStation Store, right? You can go and claim it. What I'm getting at is what if you and a friend, let's use Horizon as an example. You bought that game. Horizon Forbidden West has 2 discs on the PS4 version. Let's say I bought it. I took disc 1, you took disc 2, and we both put it in our PS5s. Could we both play the PS5 version of it and only one of us pay for the physical? Do anybody know that? That's going to be some breaking news. Some breaking loophole news. Some breaking poor man news, I guess. But I don't know what game it was. I will have to go over there and dig in it, and I can't do it live because we're recording. And I should have thought about it later, or before. But I did it once. I put a disc in, and it didn't matter. Like whatever disc I had in there, it worked. It was like you just needed a disc to get validation to play the PS5 version of the game. It's going to be a 2-disc version. I was wondering if that's the same across the board, because that would be crazy for certain games, like while we're still in that loophole phase where you could have disc 1, the other person have the other disc, and you only put one disc in, and then you just play the digital version of the PS5 version of the game. I wonder if people know that. But it works with one game. I don't know what game it was, but I wonder if anybody talked about it on a forum or anything like that. It's funny.
Maybe. I'm trying to look up any games that do that. Our Gran Turismo 7 had 2 discs, but that was for a different reason.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if there's like basically for any PS4 game, like, can you just put in one of the discs to just play the PS5 digital version without installing from the disc, right? And it's like I use the one disc and then like another person used the other disc, and they both were able to play that. I'm just saying for all you game share people out there, there's another loophole here that I'm going to probably look into later. Now, just for the record, I do plan on being the one who buys the disc for Horizon if I play it that way. I don't want to go to the library for certain games that are like actually long. The game we're showing on screen, I did actually go to the library for that, and I didn't feel the need to buy this. But I do want to buy this eventually. But I don't really think Ratchet was worth $70. But God of War Ragnarok. Yeah, he actually bought it.
I bought Ratchet. Yep.
God of War Ragnarok is officially the first game that I bought at $70. It may be the last, but it was the first one too. And I don't regret it. I think that's going to be a very, very good game once I get through it. Once I finish this one, I do want to play 2018 and this one again at New Game Plus for both. I'm not playing at Give Me God of War, but I'm playing at the other harder difficulty. I think it's called Give Me No Mercy. I think is what they said. Okay. So I guess that's hard version, and then Give Me God of War might be expert. I don't know. But yeah, I'm playing on hard. It is a little intense. I want to have a video. So as of this recording, I want to have the video done for Monday. I'm aiming for Monday. So tomorrow, when you're listening to this on a Sunday, of me giving my actual first impressions overall, and it will include my reaction to the boss fight. There's going to be one boss fight that I believe you may have already heard about this boss fight because it's the first one. It's just a bear, a random bear. And so I'm going to give my reaction to that boss fight. I thought it was really fun. And you'll see the footage to that if you choose to watch it. I'm gonna play it a little bit safe. I'm gonna play it safe for the people. So no, there won't be any cutscenes before or after that. It's still gonna be a regular size video as everything else that I put out, and it'll be just the boss fight itself. So there won't be no context, and you won't see anything else, and it won't see the full boss fight either. It's only gonna be abbreviated. It's like 7-minute video or something. So I'll just talk about it, and it'll be like 3 or 4 minutes of footage here and there.
All right.
But that full clip will be on this podcast eventually. I'm not sure how long I'm gonna wait, but I do have the full hour of that footage that I'm gonna take saved. Just like any other footage that I show on the podcast. But I want to respect people's like play of that game. That game is like a very special one. Compared to almost everything else. So I wouldn't want to show the beginnings of or any part of that game outside of like the out of context stuff you would normally see from like a trailer. The trailer I thought still gave away a little bit of stuff, but majority of the stuff that the trailers gave away was already in the beginning. So this is still around that. Like some of the cutscenes that you play in the first hour and a half, it's like what you've seen from the trailers anyway. So it doesn't give too much away, but it gives away the beginning. But I know for a lot of people, that's still a big deal for God of War. It's like, that's like the biggest game. And I'm going to be honest, on the PlayStation side, after this, I'm not really looking forward to too many things. Maybe you could say Spider-Man or Wolverine. But after that, it's like they almost blew their load a little bit when it came to like all the sequels back to back right away. It's like they pushed them out really early. I'm not complaining on that. It's pretty cool, you know. Unfortunately on the Xbox side they couldn't do that. But like after God of War, that's to me, God of War has always been peak on Xbox or on PlayStation. Almost everybody else fell just a little bit shorter. So I'm interested to see what they could do once this is all said and done. I'm sure they're going to have another God of War game. I'm sure maybe it might be in the next generation. But on PlayStation side, I don't know what else to look forward to. It's like really God of War is like peak. God of War is peak. But I'm having fun with it. It feels familiar when I got used to controls again, because at first they was kicking the snot out of me because I had it on a harder difficulty and I forgot the controls completely. I really forgot. And I think in the game, dodging is X. Almost every other game, dodge was circle. And I found myself pressing circle when I was supposed to press X. And
I wonder if you could change it.
You probably can. I was just getting hammered though. I was getting hammered. And I was just like, okay. And then when I figured it out, I was cool. Like the boss fight was like one of those times too, where it was almost Souls-like in a way. I was like, man, I got to really get on it. And then when I finally got on it, it was hype, man. That boss fight was hype. It was hype. And it was so fun. And I've seen some clips of people putting out clips and stuff already. But yeah, definitely buy it. $70. This is the one time I would say, yeah, go ahead and buy it for the $70. Also, like when I bought God of War 2018, I actually did get that on a Black Friday the same year it came out, and I bought it for $17 back then. So it's like, you know, I almost feel like I owe them some money in a way. So it's like now I'm making up for it. You get the full 70, Jim Ryan. And yeah, but like when I you know, take in consideration both games, it's almost as if they're like $40 each if I really evened it out. And I think that's fair for like one of the best games on the system. So Yeah. Um. There's. Should I even do this? Should I do this?
I don't know what
Uh,
you're about to do.
I'm
Are you
about
about to
to.
spoil something?
I'm about to address one thing, and it's not really a spoiler at all. Let me address one
You say
thing.
not really. How much is not really?
It's not a spoiler. It's not even
Okay.
it's not even the game. I just
Is
wanted
it
to
a
say
complaint?
it's not. It's is it a complaint? I don't think it's a complaint. I feel like this is a compliment. I'm going out of context a little bit because I was going back and forth on whether I should mention this or wait.
Just don't get canceled.
But I'm just gonna say, for anybody listening to me, go check the record books. Go check YouTube's record books. I am gonna go on record and say I was the first person to give you Elden Ring versus God of War videos.
Holding this grudge.
I'm holding this grudge. I just want to say you are seeing it now coming from everybody. You're even seeing the same thumbnails too. But let it be known, I was the first one. You can go check the dates on all of them. I'm 3 months ahead of everybody. And you know what's cool about it, man? Because I've seen some of the biggest channels starting to do this. Yo, I'm one of the tiniest channels. And this is how I take credit for this as a trend, bro. Cause I remember in my own comment section, people were saying things like, "Oh, you're forgetting about Legends Arceus. You're forgetting about Forbidden West." You're right. You even said as a joke, or maybe you serious about it, I'm forgetting about Stray.
Stray.
Yeah.
Game of the year.
But now you seeing all the other videos doing the same thing, and everybody's just completely wiped out the rest of them. And then they're making the point that you didn't have this one-on-one type of matchup the year before. I said that in mine, and I don't really have a gripe about it. I just kind of felt like it makes
you got
me
a gripe about it.
I look at some of the channels sideways now because I kind of feel like the rest of your content you probably stole from the little guy as well. And it's like I appreciate the smaller channels because they're the most real, and I can actually listen to them and what they got. But for some of the bigger ones, it's like you couldn't have come up with your own content. Like you couldn't have come up with your own spin and everything. Is I don't know. YouTube is always like that though. You see the same fake pranks. You see the same reaction videos. It's like I kind of have to understand that eventually that was going to happen. I'm kind of glad that it was me a little bit because it's like at least it lets me know that I'm on the map a little bit. I told somebody else this personally a while back or yesterday or the day before where I was like, at some point, I'm going to get so big that you can't just take it. You have to react to it. And when I get to the point where you just got to react to it, that's when you know it's real. That's when you know I'm on that level. And I am going to grind at this thing. And, my co-host is going to have his own stuff as well. And, you're going to have to react to us. You can't go just take it because we're going to get to that level. And that's the mindset I have. So there will be more. There will be more vids like that. There's no ill will to any of them. Because some of those channels, I still watch some of those channels anyway. I was just a little disappointed. You know what really made me disappointed, bro? It wasn't the context of the videos and stuff. It was the thumbnail. It was the thumbnail and the blatant cut and paste of the title. That's what
you did. You didn't invent that thumbnail. Like if you had Kratos fighting one of the bosses in Elden Ring, and then all of a sudden somebody else got that, yeah. But like it was the game covers, man.
But no. It's not just that. It's like, but you got your face in the middle. It's like the way I did it was the same way, and I did it first. That's just how I looked at it. But again, it's just everybody is trying to survive on YouTube. I get it. I'm very grateful to have, multiple streams of income outside of it. I'm not actually getting paid for this. Some of the other people who did this is their only income. Like one of them, I know for a fact, this is his only income, right? But it was just kind of like when I saw it, I was just like, let me get off this topic. This not even on the
You
show.
sound extra bitter. Just be happy, man. Look, you did it first. We got our community building, right? And now other people are copying off you.
It is building. That is still my biggest video. It literally is getting, like, since the release of God of War and the few days before it, the video went from being like getting 100 videos or 100 views a day or something like that to like back in the 200 to 300 views a day range. Like, it's hot again. And it's still old, but then everybody else is making the same titles. I'm starting to even see the titles being in people's podcasts too and stuff. And it's like, are we really going to sit here and nobody's going to consider Horizon? Nobody's going to say anything about, Pokemon Legends Arceus? Everybody is, or Stray, or maybe even Sifu. Because people in my comment section was trying to tell me that I'm being disrespectful or whatever for even not even mentioning those people. I got even personal messages sent directly to me about that. So for everybody else to do the same thing, it was just like, are y'all gonna call them out too? Y'all gotta call them out for not saying Horizon and Legends Arceus too. So yes, I'll let it go. I'll let it go. Trendsetter. That's what I'm trying to be. I'm gonna be a trend setter because people react to Mr. Beast. Shout out to Mr. Beast. There was a few things that I saw. Mr. Beast has some stuff where he was like giving people advice on what to do, and then I tried a couple things, and then all of a sudden, like 3 or 4 extra people subscribed to me. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the couple people. I showed you a couple screenshots of like people having some nice words on the channel and stuff. So I don't even want to be negative. I don't want to do no more negative content because I've seen the feedback across my negative content that was like mainly in shorts format, and I could see that a lot of people just want me to like play the games and have fun, but not complain as much. And so I don't want to complain about this either. It just came off cringy to me when I saw certain people, because I could tell the fakeness in it. When I was listening to them, I heard the same talking points at the same time. And to me, it's like some people on my channel might not know this. I told my co-host this. Sometimes before the podcast recording starts, I record almost 10 videos within an hour to 2 hours straight off the cuff. I just record it. It ain't hard for me to do at all. I wouldn't even have time to sit there and try to stop and copy one person in particular. That would make it harder. That would make it more work. So to me, it's like, yo, you guys out there could be more productive and you can be more on it if you didn't stop and try to see who's doing what and do what they do. It's like, no, just do what you're doing. And one of them will pop off. I didn't know that video was going to pop off. And I also didn't know everybody was going to just copy it afterwards. But I guess that's what happens when you have something like that and your channel. Like if you look at the analytics and stuff, it's like your channel is never supposed to do something like that at the size that it's in. It's like my channel literally is not supposed to produce a video's like viewership and engagement like for the size of its size right now, but it did. And all I'm saying,
save you from sounding bitter? Because right now you just sounded extra bitter for no reason.
I'm gonna do it again.
Look, let me save you from sounding bitter. All right, we just gonna move on. You are okay. Yeah, man. Your video's still doing views. It's good. It's a good contest. And I'm gonna need y'all to stop just saying the war is solely between God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring and pretend like Stray didn't exist.
Stray.
Side note, Gotham Knights. This is about to be 10 second. I guess spoiler for those that want to get it, but it's not really that. It has no impact on the storyline. There's a cat in the belfry, so I was there, and they started talking about a cat. Like, and then they're like, "Have you heard that meowing and everything?" And they're like, "Where Batman is, cats always seem to follow." It's like, a joke. But then the next time I went to the belfry, because you made a mention, I was like, "I'm about to go out on patrol. One of you go out, go buy food." and for the cat. And then when I came back the next day, I was going up the stairs and I stopped for a second to look at my phone. And when I look back, this cat just jumps down and like lays next to me. They ain't let me pet it though, but there's a cat in the belfry. Cat's taking over, man.
Shout out to Stray. Shout out to all the cats. I watch a lot of cat videos throughout the week. I will let it go. Cats are great. I will let it go.
But so you mentioned though that you were saying that like after pretty much God of War, there isn't really that big of a release
for
coming
me.
out for you.
For me, I know a lot of people are still gonna say Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. I'm right there with you with it, but it's not like I'm not too anxious to get back in the Spider-Man story as I was God of War. I can argue because of the seriousness that you have to take with God of War, where Spider-Man is a little bit more loose, a little bit more lighthearted, family friendly, a little bit jokey and stuff, where God of War is like, it's serious. Like, this is a serious thing that's going on. I think I said that in the other video. Like, it just got serious. So, yeah.
As a nice little transition, there is a universe that I'm really ready to jump into.
All right.
And I think it's going to be a really great game based off of this last showcase, and that was Hogwarts Legacy. So they ended up having a showcase for about an hour, a little under an hour. They were showing off 3 aspects of the game, like kind of quickly. So it wasn't like a super, super detail, but like something to like let you know what they were working on. And it was character creation, the layout of like Hogwarts, like just kind of exploring a little bit, and then the combat in the game. On all 3 of these look great. Like, first of all, let me just say that the people working on this game, you can tell they care about the universe, like the Harry Potter universe. And I think what I really like about this is I can already see, and I'll explain this too, where a sequel can be even better for this already. But like, it's one of those, like, as a first game, it's going to be good, but then a sequel is probably going to be what they need to really be top tier. So first of all, the character creator looks great. They really designed it where you can really try and make yourself for this game. And like, I know this probably isn't a big deal for some, but like, I'll just say the variety of hairstyles is fantastic.
Okay.
And they look great. So they really were like no matter what you look like, if you want to see yourself in that game, you're going to be able to see yourself in that game. Like, they really put in the work for that.
Well, I hate to have to do this. I have to do this for those random people out there that I've seen every now and then that always ask about representation. So, how are the hairstyles for the black women?
Really good.
They're really good. Okay.
From what they showed, like, let me put it this way too, even for the black guys, because they were like the guy who was making like a character, which they kind of did this, and it was a little like the way it looked. But like, I really hope they didn't mean it this way. But it was like one guy that was there who was like a really like part of the game development. A guy who was kind of like a fan. I don't know what part of the development he was on, but he seemed to be more like a fan, or maybe just a host of the channel, or just somebody who could talk about it. Then they had another guy who was part of like creative direction, and then the girl there that was like heavy into like the design of the game. And they gave the controller to the guy who like didn't seem to be part of making the game. He just so happened to be black. Everybody else was not black. And then they're like, you go ahead and make the character. Almost to kind of be like, look, you can make a black person correctly. So it did kind of come off that way. It was a little cringy. But when I was just looking at
I always thought it was cringe, but that seemed to be a big deal for people. Like, black people hair being a big deal for people. So
looking at that though, I think part of it too is I have seen some games where it's like your option is close cut afro, or you gotta have like not black people hair, right? Like, so for sometimes it makes it like it does throw it off a little bit.
I remember one of the complaints I remember recently was actually Outriders. People were saying that the cornrows and Outriders didn't look like black people hair, or like It didn't look like a actual African American hairstyle or
Uh-huh.
whatever. Even though that was
Which
still
I
like
went with
I
the
still
mahogany.
used it. Yeah, I still
Yeah.
used it in my character. But
So
yeah.
they had nice looking braids. They had nice looking dreads. They had a faded like fro. Some of the faded like hairstyles. They had hair that straight up looked like mine. Like that I
Okay.
seen in there. Like they it looks like they put in the work, and they even had like, you know, like some of the like puffy pigtails, the regular pigtails, like it looked good. Like it looked like you're gonna be able to make yourself how you want it. It even had the wacky color hairstyles, like you can get like green and things like that too. But yeah, the game like the character creation is very detailed, which you know I love in a game.
Hmm.
So that looks great. You do get placed in different houses, like, but they didn't show how you get placed yet, and I don't know what impact that has on the story yet. They didn't explain. I am hoping it has a major impact because then that could potentially create 4 different playthroughs for the game for the 4 houses. Uh, but I don't know the impact that it has yet.
Okay.
Uh, but then they showed you walking around the castle, and they said, like, basically, it's easy to get lost in for this castle. Like, it
Okay.
is just, there's so much lore and, like, things to interact with and just look at. And everything is just, like, very detailed and well done. Like, people were doing their research off of these books to really try to do it, which is a little difficult to do because the detailed parts come from the Gryffindor house because that's the main character. So it's easy to design what those should look like, and you got the movie to like base it off of. But like when you're trying to design the houses for the other ones, you got to kind of go off of personalities and what people said. And they really make it lived in. And they said one of their biggest things that they wanted to do was the idea is for anybody like maybe watching the movie or reading the book after, when
Hmm.
they hear about a detail or they have to go somewhere in the movie, in their head, they know what they're doing because they played the game. Right. So
Okay.
it's like, oh, I recognize that corner. Like that was this part of the game, and this is what used to be there, and all this other stuff. So that part looks great. The combat looks fine. Like I think it's fun enough. It's basically you're almost not like still, but you're kind of like stationed, and like basically you're like shooting spells at each other, and you have to dodge out of the way and like shoot and dodge and shoot and dodge. It's kind of how it goes. While you're targeting different people. But they said that like so the different spells you do and you have them like loaded up, they have different like cooldown times. So you gotta like manage what spell you're doing and when you're dodging. Like it looks involved for a combat system. And then like people can put on like protection spells where like they can't get hit by like certain spells, and you have kind of like color coded spells to know exactly what move you need to hit them with to break the shield. But because again, there's like cooldowns, everybody has like a purple shield up, so you need to hit them with a purple move to take it down. There's going to be a cooldown, so you got to take them out like in a good order where you're not going to get jumped and everything. So there is an evolved combat system that looks good too. Uh the only issue that I have is there isn't, I like to call these like the slice of life stuff
Okay.
that you could just interact. So it's like a lot of the interactions that you do and things that you do are related to the story. So you talk to people to get side quests or you're doing main quest story stuff. You can't just like play chess or play quidditch. Like you remember in A Way Out where you could just play the mini games?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the mini games are mentioned in here, but you can't really play them. So like there even is a side quest where there's like this one little game that you could like that was mentioned, and it has to do with well, you can watch uh the showcase for like the details of it. But it was like a little game that the girl mentioned where all the pieces were like stolen from her, and you're gonna try and get them back. But then already somebody else is like, "Are we gonna be able to play that game?" And the guy's like, "No." Like essentially. So I think where a sequel could go, because now with the basis of this game being good and really making sure that the stuff that's already in there runs great, in the sequel, keeping that, having a good story, but then all they got to do really is add all of the slice of life stuff where you get to really live there and you get to like play the different like games that are mentioned and like play Quidditch and like all the little mini game stuff. And I think that would make it perfect.
Okay. Real quick, I guess we could make this real fast. Speaking of sequels, it was announced that the game Control will have its sequel. They are going to make it.
You got to play the first one.
The code name of it was called Huron, I think. I had to make sure because it sounded like a certain control substance. But no, it's Huron. So yeah, that is coming eventually. And we're going to talk about movies towards the very, very end. But I thought this would be kind of hilarious to mention now. Because it's technically another sequel is going to be made. I don't know if this is considered a sequel. Because there's technically more movies. But it's two announcements here in one. So I'll start with the bigger announcement than the smaller one. But technically there's another sequel that's going to come out for the movie Godzilla. And it's going to be called Godzilla and Kong. So it implies that they are going to team up. Maybe they friends. They talked it out. I don't know what happened there. But
Ramus and Cesaro. They were rivals. And then now, after their best of 7 series, they're a tag team. They set the bar.
So it's going to be called Godzilla and Kong. I think that's the next one that's going to come out. I don't know how long it's going to take. If it's coming out next year, but you'll hear probably next year. But it was just announced that it's going to be called Godzilla and Kong is the name. So I don't know who the enemy is. I don't know anything else. That's all I know. But the second part of this announcement is there's a game called Giga Bash, which is like a top-down monster battle royale type game.
Forgot about that game.
It is getting DLC that I think is set to come out this December 9th. And the DLC is Godzilla. Godzilla will be in that game. You'll get to play as Godzilla and fight all the other monsters. I don't know if they're going to put any more Godzilla monsters in there. But Godzilla himself is going to be a DLC. I don't know how much it costs. I don't think it'll cost that much. But whoever plays this, I've never played it. Godzilla is going to be in that game as well. So
okay.
I just wanted to mention that.
You know what? Since we're talking about sequels, let's also mention a prequel.
Okay.
Turns out Callisto Protocol has a prequel podcast to get you ready for the game. It's going to be a 6-part podcast, and the first 2 episodes are already available.
How long is that? How long is the podcast?
No idea. But they said it's through Helix Station. Oh, that's what it's called. It's called Helix Station. Let's see. I should look to see how long it is.
The Rocket Launcher podcast has some competition, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
They might diss us. They might diss me because I dissed 30 minutes. Okay, that's not too long.
Under 30. So like the first one was 27, next one was 27, and the next one's 22. So it's like a 30-minute episode sort of thing.
I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe they probably gonna, talk trash about Dead Space or something.
So apparently this prequel series is supposed to set up the universe for Callisto Protocol. So when you jump right in, like this is giving the backstory of where you're at, what's happening. It's introducing certain characters. So it's not really like a podcast. It's more like a radio series. Like it's like I
just figured the dude was in like some sort of spaceship or something. But okay, I guess.
So they're giving just some black backstory. I think I would listen to this personally.
Death Star. They're on the Death Star.
Yeah. I want to listen to this after I play. I do want to listen to this. It sounds interesting.
Okay.
But I want to do it after because I want to play the game going in blind, not knowing anything. And then when I listen to this, and then I can start making extra connections.
Okay.
Right? Because I think they're probably just trying to cut out some of the exposition fluff in the game so you could just enjoy it. So this is where you can get some of your exposition. And it's why is everything the way it is now in the game? Is what this is trying to do. It's like a little radio TV series.
I had thought about at one point making a video called Callisto Protocol versus Dead Space, but I would imagine the piranhas will be all over that once it's out.
That would be hard to do because one of them's inspiring. Like one of them inspires the other, essentially. So it'll be weird to like. It would be kind of weird to put them against each other. Like I mean, I guess you could. It'll be kind of just. It'll be like trying to like Scooby Doo versus Jabberjaw. Even though Callisto and Dead Space are closer together, but it's like Jabberjaw's clearly like inspired by Scooby Doo. So it'd be weird to be like, who's actually better? Like
it would have been harder to do than like God of War versus Elden Ring because there was no actual game that was out unless you wanted to include the like 2 generations ago Dead Space games. And it's like, I don't know if I really want to do that because it might not be as representative of the new one. And then like, it's not like where God of War is like, it's the direct like 3-4 games before that. And there's a full Soul series before that. That's not 2 generations old. Yeah.
Trailer versus trailer.
Yeah. So
who looks better? This teaser or this detailed trailer?
I had thought about doing a lot of those. Like when the ones that come out that are the like within a month of each other, just like how that is that I'm interested in. I thought about doing that a lot, but I don't know because we got some piranhas. It's some piranhas in this water.
Well, you know what? We're still talking about games though. So let's talk about this game too, real quick.
Yeah.
Blight Survival. Real quick. So I saw that trailer, and that's a game I want to play. So you're like a medieval knight fighting zombies in a 4-player like co-op roguelike.
Yeah, I actually so what the public doesn't know, I actually already recorded this. It might come out Wednesday because I didn't map this out at all. But it was supposed to be something that was going to come out last week with everything else. But, you know, work in real life kind of got in the way. I was only able to record so much or edit so much to come out. And then I did not know anything about one of the next topics, which was the Nintendo Indie Show at all. So when that happened, I was like, okay, I got to put a pause on something. And so I chose that. And so I did see Blight Survival. I watched the full footage. In the video that I made, I said it reminded me of Last of Us 2. The reason why is because one of the things I saw that they were doing a lot was like getting down in prone position to do some stealth. And the only other game I've seen that, you know, done in that same way was Last of Us 2. It was almost like the same animation. But like, I don't take anything away from the game from that. I thought that was probably a good thing because at least here, if you're doing the same kind of gameplay, you'll have a better story than Last of Us 2. But it's still survival zombie in a different way. And I'm here for it. I do like it. I don't know if there was any other news from it, but I did see a lot of people was looking at the videos that, you know, debuted it. I think it got over 1 million views when I got to it. So
I forgot how it just popped. How did it pop up on my radar? I was just on YouTube and it was suggested. It was just like Blight Survival gameplay. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I clicked on it. And it was just like, yo, this looks good. So
yeah, it looks very good. It looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't know if you call it AAA, maybe it's AA. I don't care. But I'll treat it like a AAA if it's like that. If it's good like that.
He described as Souls-like too.
Yeah, there's a lot of these Souls-likes that started to pop up. They're really starting to pop up a lot. And on the God of War side, I think the only game that I remember putting, it was almost like a tongue-in-cheek joke, but I was considering the game Flintlock, like a game that might be God of War-like. And the only reason was because the girl had an axe. I'm gonna keep it real. She had an axe, so that was it. That was why I said it was God of War.
Such a loose comparison, but all right.
Did you see that video? I was trolling hard, man. I was really trolling hard.
Yeah, I did.
But Yeah, I'm still looking forward to it. I'm still looking forward to it. It's a great time to be a gamer. Like, I don't want to be negative. I know I was negative for about what, 30 minutes, 20 minutes ago.
Yep.
But, it's still a great time because outside of everybody else, like when you just get the chance to sit down and play all this stuff, you got a lot of variety there. If you like, the one thing about Souls like games, or like, other games that's like another game, sometimes when you're waiting for the next one to come out, the official one, it be like 4 or 5 years later. So these other copycats, sometimes they really do fill the void. You know what I mean? Like, because not every studio is pumping them out like Resident Evil. You know what I mean? Not every
Right.
studio has that. And I think I'll mention this real quick while I just mentioned Resident Evil. So Resident Evil has some issues going on earlier this week. I don't know if you're familiar, but it wasn't actually Resident Evil. It was actually Walmart.
Okay.
I'll have to throw Walmart under the bus, because what happened was Resident Evil 4, the remake is, we've seen some trailer footage and everything on that for a while. Walmart had Resident Evil 4 up on their website as a pre-order for like $33, which seemed absurd. And it was like, I actually could have done it myself, but I hesitated on it because I was like, something don't seem right about this. And one of the funny things was the PS5 version of it got sold out, right? And then the PS4 version had the Series X's box art on the page. It literally said the PS4 version of this, but it had the picture of the Series X one on there, and it was like $33. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm not going to touch it. I had it right there where I could have pressed pre-order and everything to get it for 30. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then hours later, I saw more reports on it that it was like sold out. And so they were sold out. And so the people who did it, they thought that they all got it. And then apparently like hours after that, or like the next day, Walmart started massively canceling all the orders. And so I don't know what happened, but it was just like they got people hopes up for a second that they were going to save like $20, $30 or whatever. And then they just massively canceled it. It reminded me of I think it was the store called Kohl's. Isn't that like a clothing store? But Kohl's at some point was having pre-orders for the PS5. I don't know if you remember that. And it was back when the PS5 and the Xbox was like really hot, and everybody was like checking every website, and they had all these apps on their phone, and they were doing like 50 websites at a time, clicking over, trying to see who had it. And so at one point, Kohl's had it up, and it was even with the bots. Like usually the bots would get it and they would close it out, but everybody was able to still get it under Kohl's one day. And then next thing you know, Kohl's just massively canceled everybody's order of the PS5.
I feel like if you're going to post it and mess it up, you gotta just honor it.
Yeah, they wasn't honoring that. They didn't honor that, and they didn't honor the Resident Evil 4 one. So
I mean, yeah, that's easy for me to say because I wouldn't be the one losing money. But like, yeah, just honor. Like I remember, like and under the same vein, I went to a Target one day. Back in the days, we're buying DVDs, and I was getting the collections for Smallville, and they had them on sale for like, it was like 4 for $20, and I was like, "Yo, for real?" Because usually each one costs $20. So I grabbed 4 of the seasons I was out, and I go to the counter, and she was ringing them up as 20, and I was like, "The thing says 4 for $20." So she went to go check, and it turns out that deal had expired, but they forgot to take the coupon, like the deal down. And by apparently Target policy, if they accidentally leave the deal thing up, they have to honor it. Yeah. So she had taken it down with like going to check, but was like, "But we got to honor it," and I got all 4 for $20 bucks. And it was crazy because I started watching at season 5 or 6, and I had season 5 already, and then I was able to get the other 4 that I was missing for $20. And it's just like, that was what's up.
I know for a fact they have to honor stuff in store. Like if you saw it, you took a picture or something, it just shows this is the price listed. It might take a while because you got to go get managers to approve stuff and everything, but they will honor it once they go through the thing. But
it was right away for the Target that I went to. Like she just walked over because the DVD section was nearby. She was like, "Hold on, let me check." Saw it. It was just like, "Oh, yep, that's what it says." All right, and then just manually put in the price. It was like, "Have a good day," and told me like what was up, and then like took it down.
That's how I got Mario Kart 8 for the Switch for $40 back when it was still like mainly 60 and they weren't doing any bundles or any deals or anything. Yeah, I got it like that because Target on the website had it for 40, but in person the dude was trying to sell it to me for 60, and I'm like, it says this on your website. So he got his manager, the manager saw it, and they took me over to a whole nother area to make the sale. I guess they didn't want everybody to find out, whoever was standing there. So they took me over to the side. It was like real quiet about it. I cooperated. Like I didn't call a scene or nothing, cause a scene.
You should have started speaking real loud. Like, wow, I'm really getting it for $40.
I did. Sorry, like I had a Ninja blender from Walmart where I had the same kind of situation where in the store it was like $80, but online it was $50, and then the lady was all like, "You lying," and blah blah blah. Or she had that attitude. She didn't say it. She had that attitude though. And so I showed her it on my app. She didn't believe I had it on the app. Then she pulled it up on her own. Then she stared at it for a second. And then she still wanted to be rude about it, but she knew she was like in the wrong, and so she got the manager to do it. And so, I got the blender for $50, but I don't think it's going to work that way for when it's online. So, the Resident Evil 4 guys who bought it for $33, y'all got it canceled. And unfortunately, I don't think you're going to pay that money because, or I don't think you're going to get out of paying that money. They're going to make you pay that money, I guess. Dang. So that's unfortunate. Speaking of making you pay that money, I haven't gotten your take on the PlayStation VR 2 and the pricing that they decided to go with, because they decided it's going to cost you more than the actual system itself.
Bro, that wasn't pricing. That was audacity. Like, really? $550 when the system costs $500? Like, that is absurd. Here's the thing. You're charging more like that much, and the thing still needs to be hooked to the system. Like, it's still not free roam. Like, you still gotta be just like near the system in order to use it. Like, that is way too expensive.
To have the full PS5 experience, then it's $1,050, right? Altogether, not including tax. Yeah. It's unfortunate because there's not a game there that you would say that you really want to play. It's just there'll be a It's like there's a collection of certain games, here and there, and then when you cut off the support of the first VR, it's like, well, now like what I'm hearing is that there might be a game by game basis kind of thing where the developers themselves will do upgrades, and then you might run into another $10 upgrade situation. And I'm just like, I don't even want to deal with that. If somebody coming in from it brand new, like I would be brand new to VR, that sounds like a headache. It just sounds like a headache. It would have been so cool if they added it on, because it would have been like you would have had already a variety of VR games, and then you would have started adding on all these new ones. But it is what it is.
We have to get the VR, though. We have to get the VR. See, here's the thing. Remember, Remnant from the Ashes is a sequel to a VR game, so we got to play the prequel. So we got to get the VR.
Is it co-op? Is it still co-op? No. Like, how are you going to do that? I've never seen a co-op VR game. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they might be, but I haven't really.
Yeah, but nah. I don't think it's a co-op game. It's a solo game that we got to get to, because we got to figure out why that
they bust out that dude in the hospital bed at the last minute, and it was supposed to be something deep from the first game, but we ain't never played the first one because we didn't have the VR systems, and he was just there. And it was like, okay, but then next, he just transformed into the hardest boss fight ever. I was like, oh my god, all right. And I remember we just ran into him. We were just playing like normal. We just ran right into him. I was like, oh, look, it's this guy. We talked through his segment. We didn't listen to his speech. We didn't listen to it.
Didn't listen, and then it was just boss fight. It was like, what happened?
It was like, dang, my man was on his deathbed. He was about to die. And speaking of about to die, let's go ahead and I'm gonna clip this because I think it'll be funny. Let's get the negativity out the air. But technically, this is the most negative thing ever because is this headset real? First of all, can they really get away with this?
They're not selling it. It's just made.
It's just who gonna test it out? So who's the beta tester? Who is the beta tester for this?
If you really want to experience VR, but like you don't want to pay the $550, you can experience another VR headset, and you get one try.
I would rather pay the $550 to this. Imagine, you know how you be at the games, you be like, no, they cheating. Oh, they really gonna be cheating. Like, imagine that way. Like, I don't know. You want to explain it? Go ahead and explain it for the people.
So he was one of the original like Oculus people. He claims it. So they said it's more of just like a set piece that they have just sitting in the office. But there's like apparently 3 explosive like charges like in it. So when it reads that you got the like game over screen, it'll just like blow up and your brain blows up and you die. And
I don't know
his inspiration was the anime Sword Art Online, where basically in that game it's supposed to be a bunch of people trapped in like VR, and you have to beat the game in order to escape the VR. But if you die in real life. So he was always inspired by that before he even got to work on the first Oculus, and now he finally got to make his dream thing. And he's more on some like. The making this wasn't necessarily to use, but to show where VR could go. And it's like, we don't need to go there. Like, go back. We don't need to go there. Like, just turn around.
Is he going to get arrested or something? I feel like he should get arrested or investigated for this. Like,
I think he should be investigated. Something's wrong with him, but,
I mean, like...
Yeah, he said, the idea of tying your real life to your virtual avatar has always fascinated me. You instantly raise the stakes to the maximum level and force people to fundamentally rethink how they interact with the virtual world and the players inside it.
Let's give it to Zuckerberg. Let's give it to him for that metaverse. It's like, you use it first, sir. Here you go. But yeah, I can see if it knock you out for a little while, or maybe some sleeping gas or something. Maybe but I mean, what is it? Nah.
I would prefer like a little like so people. There's like little like taser sort of things that you can get that don't do any sort of permanent damage, but like a little shock. No. So you're just like, ow. But at the same time, I don't want to use that. Like,
put
I don't
it in a
play
Souls game. Make a VR Souls game that if you die in it, you die.
In real life,
wasted.
You know how many people are gonna die before we leave the tutorial?
Bro, imagine they show it off at like an E3. They were like, here it is. Here it is.
People trying it.
Like, oh my God. You're like, yeah, let's get somebody from the audience. And they just go up there. No, man.
Jeez.
It's just crazy. I've never heard of this. It sounds outrageous. It sounds like something that would be on the dark web. I don't even know if I could say that term, but I said it. We'll see what happens later. But like literally, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like something like that. I don't even know what game. Even my favorite game, I wouldn't even play Mario Kart on the Rainbow level with that. No. What are we talking about? I would never do that.
You die.
No, it's
if you don't make the top 3, you don't get to drive anymore.
Yeah, you play something like that and you just, or Who Sunk My Battleship, like for real?
Oh.
Like, I'm not about to do that. No, so that's, I mean, they'll be killing my pockets. They ain't gonna kill me. No, thank you.
So
So
luckily it's not for sale. It's just chilling in the office.
is
But
chilling in prison. You still need to get investigated for making, because that's still considered like a saw type like thing. So I don't know,
yeah,
like you jigsaw or
it
something.
turns out some company it was called a Tekken torture tournament. Apparently 32 participants played Tekken wearing shocking arm straps that gave them like non-lethal electric shocks based off of injuries on the screen.
Okay, all right.
See, I would just
Well,
be ducking and hiding. Like I'm not trying to feel the pain of virtual reality.
I'm
I play the games to have fun. Like this is
well. The real headsets cost too much for me as it is right now, so I probably ain't even gonna mess around with it. Let alone the make or break one. Like no. Even like electric shocks is doing too much. Like I ain't trying to do that. Like people be having that.
ah,
They have that on for like if you like I guess eat the wrong things or something. I forgot what it was. It's like, don't you know the people who have the ones that's on their collar? If they say the wrong thing or if they eat the wrong, it shock you. Like what? No,
yep,
no, no,
conditioning collars. Yeah,
no, no. You're not an animal. No.
it's a thought-provoking reminder of unexplored avenues in game design, and those bad boys need to stay unexplored.
I'm not exploring that. But anyways, we could probably move on from that. Um, technically, I was supposed to do this at the halfway point. I'm gonna do it in a second because I kind of need to take a bathroom break. But I want you, if you don't have to take a bathroom break, I want you to tell us a little bit about this Dead by Daylight thing, and I'm gonna try to run back as quickly as I can. I am so sorry. But
Yeah, no
yes.
problem. All right. So for my Dead by Daylight players, I know my brother knows about this one. So unfortunately, the game devs decided to remove a feature that some people like. So I don't know if you know about this, but flashlight saves, right? Where you can shine the flashlight in the killer's eyes, and then they drop the person. They're trying to pick them up, or you just blind the killer. Well, of course you would use that if the killer like picks up one of your comrades and you're not being a troll player, then you're gonna flashlight the killer so he drops the comrade and then you guys can try and escape. Now, of course you can counter that because as the killer, if you just look the other way, and you can try and avoid the flashlight gaze. Well, apparently they've realized now that on certain maps and at certain lockers, you can position yourself in a spot where when the killer opens the locker to grab the person, you can shine the flashlight in their eyes. And because they're locked in the animation of grabbing the person, they can't do anything to counter automatically being blinded. So then they're going to automatically drop the person and you can go. So the developers decided to give the killers now immunity from being blinded when they're pulling from lockers. So you can no longer use that strategy to try and make it more fair for the killers. So of course some people are like, good, because it's not fair if you can't counter it at all. Right? Like if it's not a mechanic of the game to be able to counter, then it is considered unfair. While other people feel like it was such a specific case that it's a weird thing to just take away. And furthermore, it's kind of messed up when you have a killer who's tunneling the person after the gens are all fixed, and then that person hides in a locker. This is your way of trying to get away from the killer because he's going to keep tunneling one person.
I'm
That's
back.
where I stand. So where I stand on this whole locker thing is that like it's I don't see it as that much of a big deal. So basically the idea is the game devs removed an ability where behind certain lockers on certain maps, a person can position themselves nicely, and if the killer opens the locker to snatch a person out of it, somebody with a flashlight can shine it into the killer's eyes and they end up dropping the person. And the issue was that in the locker snatching animation, it's an animation, so the killer's locked to it. So behind certain lockers, they can't do anything to counter being blinded. So the game devs removed that feature, giving them immunity from being blinded when they're pulling somebody from a locker. Some people are like, it's fair because if you can't counter it, then it shouldn't be in the game. Whereas other people feel like this was a good. It was very situational, right? Because it wasn't every locker. It only worked for certain lockers because of the positioning. But then also when all the generators are like done and everybody can escape, sometimes killers go into panic mode and they just tunnel one person. And if that person being tunneled runs into a locker and then somebody with a flashlight saves them, that's their way of getting away from being tunneled. And now they just kind of remove that from the game as well. So there's discourse in the community of some people saying, yeah, it's fair to remove, and other people saying it's trash. Apparently, they're really trying to do stuff to make it a little bit easier to be, not easier, but more appealing to be the killer, because there's too many people always trying to be survivor. And I can say that is very true. Whenever I play the game, if I load in to be a survivor, sometimes it can take minutes before I'm into a game, right? And if for a game that has like a lot of people playing, something taking like 3-4 minutes in a lobby is a long time. Versus when I choose killers, like within 5 seconds, it's like you're uploaded into a match. So it's like everybody wants to play survivor. So I guess they're trying to make killer more appealing.
You know what they need to do? They need to put this game on that VR headset. And it really would be Dead by Daylight.
There we go.
You're going to play some real Dead by Daylight, man.
I will still just be killer. I'm not going to be survivor. Watch me die.
Oh, man. It's crazy. It's like, what would have happened with that metaverse if they did something like this? I don't even know. I don't want to know. But yeah, Dead by Daylight. You know what? I also want to mention real quick with Dead by Daylight, because I think Dragon Ball The Breakers is similar. That's out now for like a couple weeks. It is on sale. I think its normal price is like $30, but
okay.
This is gonna go into I guess the next topic. I'll mention it because the topic is really just like we're actually like 17 minutes past the halfway part, but that's okay. Epic Games is usually our unofficial sponsor for the halfway point, but right before I go into that, I would just mention, because of Dead by Daylight and a few other games, this is something you probably want to get on right now if you want a like sale before Black Friday. I don't know what the Black Friday sales are this year, because I actually don't plan on buying anything else, because I've definitely overspent and I bought so many game systems and stuff. So Dead by Daylight was on the list with a lot of other games that I just took advantage of with Amazon as well as Target. Both Amazon and Target right now have a deal going on where it's like buy two get one free, and they have a variety of games there. It's not too many big titles there, but I do know Elden Ring is in there. On Target side, the Vengeance version of Sifu is on there, but I think that comes with the steelbook and like a little like art book and stuff, and so that's like normally $40, and that's in that group. There's a game that I took advantage of called Thymesia, I think is what it was called. It was that little Souls-like game. I got that on the buy two get one free. I actually bought the Pac-Man game, the one that was like 2 or 3 Pac-Man games in one. That was like $30, so I bought that in that deal as well. Because I'm still a big fan of platformers, and so when that was shown off earlier this year, I was excited for it. I don't know who else was. It was like one of the only things that came from that one show. I think that was a Nintendo show, but I got it on PlayStation. It was multiplat. Thymesia is multiplat as well. But double check Target and Amazon online for the buy two get one free. It's not just games. They also have like books, toys, accessories, a lot of other stuff. But as far as in gaming, they put NBA 2K in there. I think Madden was in there as well. I know NBA was.
Both are in there.
The wrestling game was in there, but not. I don't think they mentioned WWE 2K23, but 22 is in there. Like all versions of WWE 2K22 is in there. I got Amnesia. I got the Pac-Man game. What was the other one? I went and got, I think Hitman, the series, was on Game Pass for a while. I don't know if it's still on Game Pass, but Hitman 3 was $12 on Series X, and I think it's like $20 on PlayStation 5. And so I bought the Series X version of Hitman 3. I technically own the first two on PlayStation, but a deal is a deal. I went for the savings. So
look at now, Persona 5 Royal is on there.
yeah.
Gotham Knights, if you want to join me on that, is on there.
Yeah, I think that's one of the newer games. I believe Saints Row, if you still want to give it a shot, they discounted Saints Row on Amazon, and then that's still a part of the buy two get one free.
Tsushima, if you didn't get that already.
Yeah, the director's cut of that is on there. I think Spider-Man was in there. Another game that I got that I recommend people get the PS4 version of, I decided to get Kenna Bridges Spirits instead of just playing it through my library, because that one is also Souls-like, and I like to play Souls-like games. I want to play them multiple times. So the PS4 version, when I got it, was like $20 or $23. But the PS5 version is like $40, I guess. Get the PS4 version of that game no matter where you get it, because you can upgrade to the PS5 version for free. And that game is normally discounted a lot more on the PS4 side. And so I got the deluxe version of that for I think $23. Kenna Bridges Spirits. So yeah, I did a lot of like Black Friday ish shopping early, and I'm kind of done.
Cult of the Lamb is on there, and Ghostwire Tokyo. That's a game that I was interested in.
Now, when I did my like 5 hidden gems, and my co-host said I shouldn't have put Batman on there, I think the last game that I put on there was actually Ghostbusters. I haven't paid attention to the new one at all. I didn't look at gameplay or trailer, but the new Ghostbuster game is actually on that list too. For anybody who's into Ghostbusters, I don't think it's based. I think it's based on the new movie or something. I don't know. So I didn't really look at it because I didn't see the new movie. But I was definitely a fan of the old stuff, the old school stuff. So they did another Ghostbusters game, and I think that one was already $40 at normal retail. But it's in that buy two get one free 3 games altogether. So yeah, there are some deals in there. A week from now, I don't know, maybe my co-host might tell you, but there might be some more deals for Black Friday. I'm pretty much Black Friday'd out. I think I did a very, cause outside of that, I went and got, I got the Wii, I got the Xbox 360, and I got the PS3 that's fully back compat. And it's like I went and got sample games here and there. If I do anything else Black Friday, I would pick the last couple of old 007 games from a mom and pop store, because I was big on 007. It's not just GoldenEye for me. Like, I really played the ones from the PS2 GameCube generation. So I would fill in the gap there. It was only like 2 more I needed to get from the mom and pop store, and they were like $10 each. They weren't really expensive. I just didn't get it right then and there because I was still spending so much. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything for Black Friday. Do you have anything for Black Friday to get? I'm just letting people know about the deals.
So I want Guardians of the Galaxy, because I still didn't get that. And Ghostwire Tokyo.
Okay. Ghostwire Tokyo.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, I think Ghostwire Tokyo was in the Target buy 2 get 1 free, but it's not in the Amazon. However, what was the other game you mentioned? I think
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy should be in there. I did see that. That is in there. and the buy two get one free. The only problem with it is like they do sometimes up the price of some of the regular ones when they do them buy two get one free. Where if you go find just the game by itself, it's usually discounted by itself. So just be careful with some of those.
Yeah. I want to get. I was now considering Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. You sold me on that one.
Oh yeah, I had some fun. I had to go buy it, man. It was just fun. I'm technically still playing because at the end of it becomes more Souls like. It goes from a platformer to a Souls game. I was like, all right, I'm back. I'm in. I'm all in. So, for anybody who doesn't know, for Kirby's and the Forgotten Lands, once you get past the main game, you have the option. It's not required, but you can go back through and do every boss battle in a Souls-like state. They're going to be harder, and their hit to damage ratio is going to be more on their side, and they're going to be more aggressive. And then I think they do like a thing where they make the board a different color and stuff to like really sell the mood, like this is serious. And so, yeah, it becomes more like a Souls-like game at the end. And then you can still do all the platforming and stuff throughout it, but like you can go back and just do a lot of boss fights, and then they have like a whole nother story that's like not the same as like the regular game to like sell you on going back to it instead of just being challenges. But it's technically just a challenge mode. And yeah, I was sold. I was like, I want to keep doing this. So yeah, I went and got it. So yeah. I do kind of want to get Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, but I don't know if they've ever pretty much fixed it. It was still in like a really bad frame rate state. So it is.
Yeah. You reminded me I need to get that Attack on Titan game.
I want to know if they fixed that for real. Like, did you fix this? For them to be like, oh, we're reprinting up a bunch of them, because they technically had stopped reprinting, and then like to find it physically, it was like really starting to be more expensive out of nowhere. But like the game itself was like, I got to a point very early in the game where it basically was just broken. It was unplayable. I could not get past the point because one of the characters would just run into a wall and then literally be trying to like they're still kind of galloping on a horse, but the horse is like pressed up against the wall and they can't go to where they need to go. And because they don't go to where they need to go, the mission doesn't end and it's just stuck forever. So yes. I have put it down. I will probably install that again, just like a few other games, after I'm done with God of War, because I actually uninstalled a lot of stuff just to put God of War on there. But there is one game, I will mention this right now. Shocker news. There's one game I decided I may not ever install again. Maybe I will never play this game again, man. When I uninstalled it, I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Okay.
And that's Bugsnax. Yes, Bugsnax. I said I didn't want to play no more. I was like, you know what? There's no point to this. I got Pokemon. I got Digimon. No, I don't want to do this. Yes, it was Bugsnax. R.I.P. Bugsnax on my PS5. I may not ever play that again. Yes. Shocker. I know there's a huge Bugsnax fans out there.
I may not ever play it. Like, it's just in that library, but I didn't know Bugsnax got that big of a community. If you're part of that Bugsnax community, make sure to mention it below. Because
I was playing it and I thought it was hilarious at one point. I got a funny clip. There's some funny clips on it. So I clipped a piece, but I don't think it's YouTube worthy. Maybe somebody else has already seen it if people was actually watching that, but no, it's like a cutesy toddler version of a Pokemon game in a way, except they don't battle. You just kind of collect them, and you need to collect a certain amount to do certain things, and it's almost a waste of my time in a way. It's definitely for little kids, little kids. It definitely is, but no, I let that go. So yep, that's pretty much done. I do want to get on to the Epic Games. So yeah, anybody out there, go definitely take advantage of that sale and some other sales. There is one thing when we hop to the PS5 later on, I am going to buy real quick the game Judgment. It is $15 on the eShop on PS5.
Okay.
And so I'm going to buy that and then maybe buy Lost Judgment when it goes down in sale a little bit. It's already kind of on sale, but I don't know what I'm going to get to Judgment. So
You just called the PlayStation Store the eShop?
yeah, I did. I don't know.
The eShop is Nintendo.
It's Nintendo. You know what? That's going to be our next topic because we got to talk about their indie show real quick. But Epic Game Store. So I'm gonna say this real quick. From right now until the 17th of November, there are 2 games that you can get. One of them is called Alba, a wildlife adventure. That looks similar to a video that I'm going to release this week about a game called Chia, which was loosely based on or at least the world is similar to like Breath of the Wild. Alba, a wildlife adventure is like maybe not exactly like that, but it looks similar to that, but it looked like it was a little bit more watered down. But yeah, that's one of the free games. And then there's Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shotgun. That is also a free game you can get right now until the 17th. And then right after that is going to get very interesting because I think there's one called Dark Deity. I don't really know what that's about, but that is going to be from the 17th to the 24th. But the next one that's going to get given away is actually a newer game. This is called Evil Dead, the game. I'm pretty sure some of you heard of it, but it was on your radar like that. But Evil Dead, the game, was a game that I actually at the last minute decided I don't want to buy this. And it was like, I'm taking it off my list.
4-player one?
Yeah.
That's like 4v zombie. Okay.
So they're giving that away.
Be for free?
They're giving that away on Epic Games. It pretty much tanked. Didn't nobody buy it. So
wow.
It's on Epic Games. That was something they were showing off last year right next to what was that game called? It started with a B. What is it called? It was
that's not enough information.
it was a game. It was
Battlefield.
What was the game that was supposed to be the successor to Left 4 Dead 1 and 2? It started with a B.
Back for Blood?
Back for Blood. That's what it was. So this one, they were kind of promoting it right with it. It was like, okay, after Back for Blood, you're going to play this later on. But people didn't really like Back for Blood as much. And then this one just died. It just died. It came out and died. So, yeah, it is what it is. But it will be free next week for the PC people. You can play it for free on Epic. So, yeah, there's that. I don't know if this is really big news, but I'll mention it anyway because there were still rumors that Returnal was going to go to PC. I think that might be legit because there was other things that came out with that, like some specs and stuff that came out.
Yeah.
And so for anybody who ain't got it yet, it's going to go to PC. That's still one of the games that was on my radar that I wanted to get on PS5, but I didn't really want to pay the full price for. It's like I could justify God of War. I can't justify a lot of these other ones though. So
yeah, it's called the Steam listing is Codename Oregon, but like a lot of the specs just pretty much everybody's looking at the Steam specs and everything. They're just like, this is Returnal. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's going out there. Right before we mention the Nintendo the Nintendo show. I think we could probably talk about this real quick to lead into it, but You mentioned that Pokemon was no longer the best-selling game in Japan.
Yeah, so up until this point, the best, like the most selling game was Pokemon Red, Blue, and Green, right? The original three. For us, it was Red, Blue, Yellow. But for them, Red, Blue, Green were the most. And up to this point, they have sold 10,230,000 units, right? Like this was the game. Well, not anymore. It has been dethroned as the most sold game in Japan. And it is now lost to, you guessed it, Animal Crossing's New Horizon.
Oh, wow.
Animal Crossing's New Horizon has sold 10,450,000 units. So about 200,000 more. A little more than 200,000 more units than Red, Green, and Blue. And below Red, Green, and Blue, the next one is 7 million units, and it's Pokemon Gold and Silver. And then below that is Mario Bros. And then below that is Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Okay.
So the top 5 now are, from 5 up is Smash Bros. Ultimate, Super Mario Bros. The one Super Mario Bros. That came out in 85, like the original. Pokemon Gold and Silver, Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, and then Animal Crossing's New Horizon.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know why I thought you was going to say Stray for a second, but okay.
I wish. It was like the highest selling game is Stray. It's crazy how much Pokemon is on here. So this is Japan. But like number 2, number 3, number 9, 10, 11, 12, and 19 out of the top 20 are all Pokemon games.
Yeah, shout out to Pokemon.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm technically still playing Soul Silver, but I'm almost to 100 hours in. So
nice.
I'm having fun with it. I'm
just waiting for Scarlet. I'm waiting for Scarlet. I've played my other ones.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for Scarlet. I need to go back. So funny enough, I started with Emerald, and then I went back and I played Fire Red, and then I followed from there, like Soul Silver, things like that. I want to go back. I need to play the original Silver, which I used to have on my phone, or Gold. I had the original Gold on my phone because I played Soul Silver, so I wanted to play Gold. And I also own Pokemon Yellow, and I need to finish that. I'm about halfway through.
You got them all on your phone?
Fun. No, Pokemon Yellow I actually have on the 3DS. One day they were doing like a 1-day sale for Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and each one cost $2.
Oh, wow.
Like out of nowhere. So I only wanted to buy one of them. And I was like, okay, I've played Fire Red. And like that's pretty much the enhanced version of Red. So I want to play Yellow because I wanted to see what it would be like being locked with a Pikachu as my starter.
Okay. I remember I had the original Red. If you were really playing in the grass really early on, when you first get let into the wild by yourself with your starter, you could actually run into Pikachu. But he was extremely weak, and like it was very easy to just kill him instead, or like not kill him. That's a bad word. Very easily to feint him instead of getting him weak enough to put in a Pokeball. But if you were succeeded, you would have had your starter, which would have been either Charmander, Bulbasaur, or Squirtle, and then you would have also had Pikachu before you made it to the first jump. But sometimes I got it, sometimes I didn't. I remember restarting it a couple times, but I did get it the one time that I went by all the way through, and that was still a very fun game. Soul Silver is a very good like blast from the past. I am looking forward to playing Emerald for the next generation up. I will say, sadly enough, the more I'm playing this, the less I want to go back to the Digimon side. But I am going to still do it.
People feel that way.
I do still want to do it, but
yeah, Emerald was my first one, and it's always going to hold a special place in my heart as my favorite, just because it was my first experience. It was my first handheld game. It was from my first handheld system. Oh, and it was my first experience into playing Pokemon as a video game. So Emerald will always be top tier. Has my favorite legendary. Uh, yeah.
I just realized there was one game that I just missed that was supposed to be a part of my middle of the road sales. It was more of a joke. It's kind of a joke, but there's a game that I saw on the eShop on PlayStation. It's called Stroke. Yes, Stroke the Hedgehog. And it's not to be confused with Sonic, but Stroke the Hedgehog is a game on the eShop. It is on sale. If you have PS Plus, it's on sale for $2.39. If you don't have PS Plus, it's $2.79. His name is Stroke the Hedgehog. It's not Sonic. His name is it's just a hedgehog named Stroke. I don't know, but it's on sale. It used to be. It's marked down from $3.99, so it's on sale for $2.39. Stroke the Hedgehog.
Stop calling it the eShop. 2, what type of game is it though?
I don't know. He a hedgehog.
Is it a platformer? Is he running?
I don't know. He might have a stroke. I don't know.
Oh my god.
I just thought it was funny when I saw it. So I was like, oh, shoot, just Stroke the Hedgehog. We can move on. It's probably an indie game. Speaking of our next topic, we got to talk about the indie show. I'm going to be honest, I forgot almost everything already. There was one game that stood out to me. I already did a video on it. I'm going to say it again. It was called Have a Nice Death. That was literally the only one. I'm going to be honest, though. There was one other game there that I thought would be interesting to actually check out. That was called Vimba. And it was because it was an Indian cooking game.
I knew you would like that game.
And so I was like, all right, I kind of feel obligated to go try to take a look at this because I would like to look at some of the cooking. It would probably help me get better at it.
Say they do it wrong. You're going to be like, that's not my recipe. They did this wrong.
They might help me. It might get better. I might be able to, work with that.
I looked at that. I was like, of course you go get this. But yeah, Have a Nice Death is the only one. I was only going to write down because we've done so many shows. So I was only going to write down the games that interest me to talk about. And the only one on my list was Have a Nice Death.
Yeah, it was really action packed. It was very early on. They didn't save it for the main event. They just started showing stuff afterwards. And it was just I will say though, it was shout out to it being unofficially a cat themed show because more than one time people just randomly had cats there. It was very distracting too. I was like, why is this cat just in the shot? And some of the people was they were very awkward when they were talking with the cat just sitting in front of them. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I appreciate the cat. So
I don't remember the name, but that game, there was a main game where your whole job is just organize stuff. And every once in a while, a cat will just swipe its hands and disrupt it. That seemed interesting in terms of I just need to relax and play something for 20 minutes to fall asleep. Just organizing. It was just organizing stuff. But Have a Nice Death is I want to get that game.
Yeah. The funny thing is I was going to put the indie show in the title, but this is probably going to go way too quick for it to be in the title. So yeah, it was really just Have a Nice Death. I wrote it down as a game that I will play eventually. And then Vimba as an extra for me, just to get my cooking skills up. Other than that, technically we can move on. If we want to talk about anything else cooking related, McDonald's has a gaming chair. I did saw it. It looked kind of interesting, but it wasn't just
I looked this up for you because you were complaining about your gaming chair.
I'm not gonna get no McDonald's chair. I know that.
Or you got to, man. So you don't understand. Let me tell you.
Get the McDonald's chair and then get the KFC gaming console thing, and then you also.
Yeah. All right. So here's the thing. One, it has an anti-grease leather or something like that.
I don't get grease on this
holder.
Okay. All right.
It has a holder for your chicken sandwiches and stuff like that.
Stop.
And it's to coincide with their new McCrispy. So, but the McCrispy, it only exists in Britain. And you can only get this chair in Britain. So
Okay,
basically,
well, I can't get it. Oh, well.
you enter a contest essentially, and whoever wins gets the chair. But all you got to do is just move to Britain for like a couple months, enter this contest, tell them that you move for it. That'll probably put you up in the ranks,
No,
and then
thank
you
you.
win it and you just ship it back home.
It'll break down like the other one. But other than that, we could probably move on.
Oh, let me describe the chair really quick though. So, all right, the black chair, the middle's yellow, the little headrest pillow has the McDonald's logo, and then all across the chair is written McCrispy, like over the whole thing. And then it got a little towel holder and like a place to put your like chicken sandwich and everything. Yeah, that's all I got. There you go. Oh, but real quick from the show. Even though the only game that we seem interested in is the Have a Nice Death, just shout out to how many indie developers are out there just saying we're gonna make our own thing. Like, keep it up. Like,
when you said,
you never know what's gonna be a hit.
speaking of the show, the first thing I was thinking is like McDonald's had a show. But okay.
No.
Right.
Back to the Nintendo show. But yeah, just shout out to all the indie developers. Like, certain like ones are gonna be hits.
Oh yeah,
It's nice to see just the work that people put in. Is like for that dream where it's just, you know what, we're gonna make our own game. I have one. Well, I guess I could do because we haven't done one of these in a while. Game recommendation. So one of mine is from an indie developer, and it's called Wizard of Legend.
Okay.
The game it's fun. It's like a roguelike. So basically, you go through and you're trying to beat dungeons of people. It's a top down, and it's like old schoolish kind of like design, but like if you die, then you have to restart. And the levels are generated randomly every time you go in, and you have different little like robes that you wear, and your robe determines like I guess the extra powers and things like that. So you can have like fire powers, ice powers, wind powers, rock powers, electric powers, and you get to mix and match them to whatever you think you'll need to go into the dungeon. But then the dungeons also have different layouts, so like ice enemies, so fire's going to do more damage, but you don't know you're going to have ice enemies, so you may load in with all ice powers, go in there, then now you're doing half damage to everything. So you got to figure out a way to like make it work. So it's definitely a solid game. That was an indie developer I followed for a while. I saw this game and it's fun.
That's what's up. I do want to mention real quick, and then we can kind of move on. Cyberpunk is still getting patches. They've released a new patch again this week that fixed whatever. And I think I heard that it fixed like some nudity issue or something. But it was also fixing like a whole lot of random things. So I'm not sure when I'm going to start this game. I held off, and I'm probably going to keep holding off because, you know, I'd rather they keep patching it. You know what I mean? Hey, they did another patch. The last patch before this was the one where it was like the official like stamp that's like, yeah, this is now playable. But they did another patch here. I don't know if they're going to do another one after this. They probably will keep doing it. But it was supposed to fix a whole bunch of random things. So, yeah, there's that. That's most of the gaming stuff. We're probably going to talk briefly about some movie stuff. We got like 12 minutes. I'm trying to stay within it. But so Winnie the Pooh, the horror movie, is in theaters right now.
Nope, it's gonna have a theatrical release. So February 15th, 2023 is gonna be in movies for a day. So it's only gonna be for like some theaters for
why
that
they doing
day.
them like they doing them like what was the movie? Jeepers Creepers. They did that. I know what the reason was for Jeepers Creepers, but why they doing this one? They could give us a full release.
For this is that they have to pay to have it released in theaters. And because it's an indie film, they don't have the money to have it released for an extended period of time.
Because that's the thing too. I don't think I'm gonna actually watch it in theaters. I'm definitely gonna watch. I don't think I'm gonna go that day. I don't know.
It's at a theater near me. I will go watch it. I will go if it's at a theater near me. But besides that,
it's scheduling for me. But yeah.
But besides that, it turns out it's gonna have a spin-off or a sequel, depending on how you want to look at it. And it has to do with the next character that just entered the public domain, Peter Pan. So they're making one called Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
And that one's connected to the Winnie the Pooh one?
It says it's a sequel. That's what the directors say.
Oh,
so they're building a horror version or horror universe based off of old IPs from books that are now entering.
I need Brightburn to catch up because Brightburn was starting and then they just stopped.
But I'm excited for that. Then we get to see that's their next one, and then I can't wait to see who else enters public domain. I think the scariest one will be if they do Charlotte's Web. I think that one's in the public domain. But we got Winnie the Pooh, we got Peter Pan. Can't wait to see who's next for this. This is going to be exciting. I like this. Hopefully the Winnie the Pooh one does well enough. And it's part of the reason why I want to go to the theaters to see it. That maybe they get a bigger budget for this next one and then they can keep doing it. Or they just keep making horror remixes.
Yeah, and I guess speaking of making more movies, so there was more news on John Wick 4.
The trailer just dropped.
Oh, I didn't see
John
the trailer.
Wick 4. Yeah, watch the trailer, but that's going to be coming out next year. March 24th, 2023.
So that's right around the corner. Out. And then not only that, Keanu Reeves has been teasing Constantine a lot. He even mentioned that he was sorry he hasn't made the sequel. Yeah.
I think it's official. Constantine 2?
Yeah, he's been talking about it lately. He said, because he did an apology or something online where he was like, I'm sorry I haven't made the sequel earlier and stuff. So, yeah, there will be a Constantine 2 right around the corner. And then you mentioned Batista and Gears of War.
So Netflix is making a Gears of War movie.
Okay.
And Batista he's been pushing for a Gears of War movie because he wants to be in it. He wants to play Marcus Phoenix. He's been doing this for a while. Fans want it.
They put him officially. Yeah, they put him in there, or at least on the game on just recently in Gears of War 5. Like when they did the Hype Busters DLC, he was also in there, like where you can have him replace Old Boy, basically.
Marcus. Yep. Yeah. So they announced that they were going to be doing a Gears of War movie. So Batista made his own little trailer for himself, like campaigning to be in the movie, where he opens up a briefcase and the Gears of War like armor is in the briefcase, and then he's like, I can't make this any easier. And then it's just him wearing the gear. Like looking ahead, and everybody's like, or like when they first announced it, a bunch of fans were already saying, "So hire Batista." Like, you're making the movie, hire Batista. And now he's also pushing to be hired. So if he doesn't get hired, there's gonna be a little bit of backlash.
Well, hopefully they don't treat it like Resident Evil. So that's all I got to say.
Ooh.
And then there's a Dragon Age anime.
Yeah, so Dragon Age, which as we wait for Dragon Age 4 to finally come out, as we're just waiting for it, they're making a Dragon Age Absolution anime. So there was an original Dragon Age Dawn of the Seeker in 2012, but this one is Dragon Age Absolution. A trailer dropped for that as well. That's going to be on Netflix. It looks good. It's like pulls a few characters from Dragon Age, but it looks like they're kind of telling their own little story. But Dragon Age has such a big universe that you can tell your own story and it still be connected in some way. Like, it's just so vast. So it looks good. My girl Cassandra, I think she's in there. But it looks good. I think what I'm liking is that it feels just kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, and there's been so much Dungeons and Dragons like content constantly coming out. I think that's one thing after the lockdown is a lot of people got into Dungeons and Dragons, so it's like more things are being related to that. So I'm happy. Like, I'm a fan.
Awesome. You're gonna have to help me with this one because I wrote it down, but I'm looking at it like I know I spelled something wrong. But Lucasfilms.
So Lucasfilms and Studio Ghibli. So Lucasfilms, of course, is Star Wars. And Studio Ghibli, they're known for some of the more popular older animes before anime really became a big thing in the Western world. So some of their older movies that for my old anime people, My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Princess Mononoke, and Spirited Away, and Howl's Moving Castle, two of the more popular ones. They're known for like very just heartwarming anime movies.
Okay.
And they were teaming up for a project, and we didn't know what it was going to be. Studio Ghibli and Lucasfilms. Well, it released, so by the time y'all are listening to this, if you listen to this when it drops, it would have released yesterday. So it's coming out on Saturday, the 12th. So it's already out by the time you hear this podcast. And it's called Zen, Grogu, and the Dust Bunnies. Grogu and Dust Bunnies. So Grogu, of course, is Lil Yoda, Baby Yoda. That's his actual name. And the Dust Bunnies are just these other things, and it's a hand-drawn animation. And it's an animated short that they teamed up to do. So I'm sure it'll be a very cute, heartwarming thing. I was hoping for something a little bit longer out of the two teaming up, but I'll take the short story. So I'll be watching it soon.
All right. I didn't intend for this to be the last thing on here, but I guess we gotta crown your boy the Pokemon champion, huh?
Yeah, we do. Funny. So, after 25 years of hard work, 12-year-old Ash Ketchum has now won the Pokemon World Championship in the anime. So this is the type of experience that most jobs want you to have. When you coming out of high school to get a job, and it's like, we want you with 10 years of experience, and you were like, that would have made me 8. Well, Ash Ketchum had 25 years of experience by the time he was 12, when he started at, I guess, the age of 12, and he is now Pokemon champion. And this anime is run over 1,200 episodes, starting in 1997, and he's finally won. After 25 years, he is the champion.
We probably could have said that earlier when we talking Pokemon, but that just seems I know somebody made this fan-made Pokemon game a while ago where they had Ash in there, they had Red and Blue in there, and like some of the other ones from like some of the other shows. It was kind of crazy, but yeah, I guess he's the top guy overall. You know what's funny? When I first played the game, and technically your name, like you name your character, but other than that, it's like your name is Red or your name is Blue. I used to always just think of him as Ash. I always used to think of him as Ash, but technically he wasn't.
Crimson. I picked the color as well, Crimson. And then if I don't use Crimson, if I'm already like, if I'm doing like a second one, like from the alternate game, then it's Cyan. So dark red or light blue.
Well, I'm not actually trying to catch all the Pokemon in the game, but I am trying to beat all the people. So technically I am trying to be a Pokemon champion in Soul Silver at the moment. And I'm having a blast with it. I did use the Master Ball, but that's okay. That's okay, because hopefully the next one over.
In one of the games, I was intending on catching all Pokemon, but then I found out that there's a specific Pokemon called Spinda. It's a little like panda bear looking Pokemon, or like a teddy bear, I guess, but its eyes are like spirals, and it has spots over it. And the whole thing is that no two Spinda look the same. Is the idea like their patterns are different? So I sat in this area consistently catching Spindas, and I made it to about 87 of them.
Oh my gosh.
And no, none of them were the same. Like some of them had 2 spots, some of them had 3. One of them looked close to being the same, but the spot design was a little farther up on the ear, so the full circle wasn't there. Where another one, it was like you could see the full circle. So they did put. I wanted to see if I can catch so many it'll break the game and one of them repeat. Oh my God. And I'm sure it'll eventually do that if you keep going higher. But it was 87 before I stopped and started playing other stuff. But yeah,
we're gonna break this podcast in 40 seconds because I don't have any more visual footage. Any last words, man? I don't know what else to say. All I got is.
Congratulations to Ash. If he could do it, you could do it.
And I'm going to try not to be negative about people copying my content. I'm going to make more content that people are going to copy. And other than that, that is all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button. For everybody that copied my Elden Ring versus God of War video, make sure you wash the back of your ears. And we are out.